Hello, everybody. Uh, this is going to be my hopefully nightly uh, recollection, gratitude show. Um, I do understand times are a bit tough right now, and many years ago, during a tough moment like this, is when I had an incident where I started writing my very first book. If you can see it, it is titled "Have You Found Yourself Yet?" Right? I was in the process of self-discovery, trying to find out who I am, who I was. Anyway, I wrote this book, and by the time I sort of finished writing this book, I met my late wife, and she edited this book with me. So, in a world where everybody's afraid of what is going to happen after the MCO period, the quarantine period, the lockdown period, where everybody is giving fears and other ideas. Everybody's doing their best. Nobody, including governments, has a clue to what's happening. Nobody, right? So everybody's grasping to whatever they know, be it religion, be it God, be it family, be it friends, be it political beliefs. Everybody's grabbing onto something. This is going to be a pivotal moment in human history. Whether you like it or not, it is. 10, 15 years from now, we are going to be talking about this to our grandkids, to our children, about what we did during this time period. Our grandparents had World War II to talk about. Our parents had the Asian crisis to talk about. We have this to talk about. What will we tell our kids in the future about how we handled ourselves when we could not leave the house, we could not go out to look for our source of income, we could not pay our bills, we could not do anything else? What did we do? This is our story. And it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And this entire crisis will end. Some are saying it's going to be end of the month. Some are saying it's going to prolong until end of May. June is when things are going to start. There's so many speculations that's going on, but it will end. Not everybody would have the absolute opportunity to stay home and figure out who they are. I'm reminded by a story that my mom told me when I was a kid. So it was a story about a very famous monk, an Indian monk. And this particular monk, before he became a monk, was a very rowdy man. He had his way with women, right? And this monk, he contracted some venereal disease as part of, because of who he was, of how he was doing things. And he was so broken, yet he had this lust deep within him. And he had no parents, no family. He only had who raised him. So when he was going through this venereal disease, he could not leave the house. He was clamped up. But his lust for women was so much that he was throwing tantrums towards his sister and everything else. And his sister gave in and said, "You know what? If you really want a woman, I am a woman. Take me." That changed him. And he started looking inwards. And the myth is he went to a temple mount somewhere, and apparently God came to him in a form or something and told him, and he asked God, what should I do now? And God said, sit still. Don't do anything, just sit still. So because he was at the end of his mind of what he can do as a man, he took those words literally. And legend has it that he sat still for years, just sat still, did not move, to a point where ants were building their house around him and so on and so forth. And when all that was done, he was cleared, he became healed, and he became the monk that we talked about. I can't remember his name anymore, but that is the story. Which reminds me of that now. We are all moving towards, we were all having a fast-paced lifestyle. We were moving forward, moving ahead. You know, no time for family, no time for children, no time for our parents, no time for anybody else, no time for us. Some of us don't even take care of ourselves, where we gained weight, we were no longer healthy, etc., etc., etc. I am not saying that this is the greatest gift that we have, but choose to see it as a gift, and it won't be as painful. Again, money can be earned. Buildings can be rebuilt. Jobs can be rebuilt. This life that is coming in and out of your nose, it goes. Game over. End game. So let's be the beacon of hope for everybody around us. Some of you are, I know, but let's continue to be that. Let's not pretend that we are better than anybody else. We are not. Nobody is, right? Regardless of what religion, nationality, wealth you have, this virus called Corona does not see all that. It just wipes you out, right? So there is no point in us trying to fight it. Accept it for what it is. Just go with the flow. So every night I am going to read a chapter from my book. It's the least I can do, and I want to read more books. If you have ideas for other books, and it doesn't matter if it is a religious book, if it is not a religious book, if the content is good, it's worth sharing. This is time that we come together as a human being, not as individual races or people of different caste and societal blocks, right? Come together as one being. That is the lesson here. So the very first one I want to share with you. Let me just scroll through. Okay. Have you found yourself? The first chapter is called Define Oneself. If you just think of money, you can never really be happy. If your quest in life is to find joy and pleasure and make others happy, trust me, money will find you. The thing is, you must enjoy and be passionate about whatever it is that you're doing. Now, this is true in my experience as a business coach. I see some people, some clients doing jobs that I came from a glamorous world of film and TV. And I have some clients who do very unglamorous products and services. But they're happy, they're contented. And because of that unglamorous thing that they do, hundreds of people eat with their families every day. Their children get to go to school every day. Their families live a better life every day because of these things. But they do it with passion. So the book goes on to say, this is not a success formula book, a debt book, or a book to prompt you to go and amass as much material wealth as you possibly can. You won't be reading many words like portfolio, investments, diversify, stock options, and a whole lot of jargons that we probably need 2 dictionaries to grasp the meaning of in the first place. I'm not saying that all these things are bad or material wealth is evil. If I was to say that, I would be the world's biggest hypocrite, and I'd probably be diagnosed with a mental denial syndrome or something. I love money as much as anyone else. I enjoy its benefits as much as anyone else. Don't get me wrong. What I set out to do when I began writing this book was to help people to find themselves. What makes them the happiest? Because trust me, friends, when you find yourself, you will find happiness. And you will find ways to make other people happy. And making people happy always has its perks. It is the mathematical equation that says the more you give away, the more is given back to you. Now, are you ready to go on this? When I started writing this book in 2006, I was finally getting off my ass to do something about my life, which had become very routine and mundane. Now, routine is not all that bad, except for that a mind like mine, who constantly seeks to be stimulated and challenged, I was scared that I was losing my mind, as it was becoming constantly bored. I felt like my brain was decaying. I was having these feelings of lethargy in my brain for a time, until I realized that I was in a rut, but how to get out of this rut. Thus, it was during one of these times when I tried to challenge my mind to conjure up something or anything just so it can be active again. And when I was hit by another realization, I thought, hey, maybe I was not the only guy in the world with this problem of dissatisfaction in my life. Maybe other people felt the same way too. What if I talked to other people about it and what I wanted out of life? Maybe my head would be listening, and maybe, just maybe, I'd be able to do something about it. I talked to so many people, friends, family, acquaintances, and it hit me that most people were just not contented with their lives, one way or another. Hence I thought, well, that could be the problem. Then I started to analyze myself, and it is not easy. Looking inwards is the hardest look. At the age of 26, my life was already quite settled, and I was gaining financial stability as I was climbing up the ladders of success steadily but surely, or so I thought. Normally, this would have been enough to make anyone happy. I still had my moments of happiness and satisfaction, but they never lasted long. Somehow, I always sunk back into that gloomy rut. The only thing about it was that I actually realized that I had an issue. We all have an idea or dream of how we want our lives to be. But sadly, it almost never turns out exactly the way we plan it. Now, I'm going to stop the book and I'm going to talk a little bit about this calling. So in one of my full programs, my Super U programs, I talk about the hero's journey. The hero's journey is when you hear a calling. It starts with a whisper. Whatever your hero's journey is, right? If you're an insurance salesman, your hero's journey might be to be the best insurance salesman. If you are a multi-level marketing salesperson, it will be to have the most multi-level marketing thing. Or if you're a businessman, is to be the biggest businessman, whatever it is. Everybody has a calling. Some choose to answer it, some choose to ignore it. Some people say it is God talking to you. Some people say it's the universe talking to you. But either way, everyone has that calling, that inner calling. But less than 1% actually answer that calling. Because the moment you answer that calling, your life is guaranteed to be miserable. I promise you this. Right? The moment you answer the calling, you realize, oh my God, my life is not what it seems to be. Everybody in my life has different focus. You start seeing your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your husband, your wife, your children in a very different light. And that sets you apart. That is the first misery of answering that call. But all is not lost. The moment you answer that call, you first go out and try to solve the call on your own. And as with every hero, you fail miserably. You horribly, horribly fail the first time you answer that call. And what do? You come back broken. But the call is still within you. It keeps resonating within you. Second time, you go get trained. You find a mentor. You find a teacher. You find a coach. And this time, the coach breaks you. Breaks every limiting belief that you have about yourself. Breaks every preconceived idea that you have about yourself. And in this process, you now feel that you're ready. You now know who or what the demon is that you need to conquer. It could be something that's within, it could be something that is external. But you now see the monster that you need to defeat. And you continue on that journey again. Now, this goes on for a long, long, long time. But the very first step of the hero's journey is to answer that call. Not everybody answers this call. We answer it in a way that we think it's easy for us. But trust me, it is never easy. Having worked with very, very successful people far beyond my level of success many times over, I see that they all pay a price for the success and happiness that they want in life. And trust me, it carries a price. This moment in time that we are experiencing, where everybody is paused, nobody can leave their homes. You can't even go out and meet a friend for a cup of coffee, something that we used to take casual, something that we used to take it for granted, right? That family member that you hate, you cannot even see them anymore, right? But if anything, this particular lockdown time is going to train us so hard on gratitude. Find gratitude in everything and anything that you can at this point in time, because that's the only exercise that I've been doing for the last few weeks. It's where I am right now. The quarantine is going on to the second month, and from what I hear, it is going to go on for another month. And I see the pattern to be repeating all over Asia because of this. So gratitude is the only way out. It's the only way forward. I hope to have better content with you guys. I hope to give you guys more in the next coming few days, weeks, while this lockdown period is here. If people are watching, great. If people are not, at least I've done something. Because 10, 15 years from now, when my grandkids look back and they Google Amar Dhillon 2020, they will see this. They will see my attempt of trying to make the world a better place from my own little personal space. I strongly implore you to do the same. Good night. Have a great day.